Here we are, live streamers! Woo! Enjoying it from the comfort of your couch, but you know the cool kids are here at church. But not to be negative about that. We're just glad that you're here and tuning in. My name is Doug Griffin, current afternoon host at 94 FM The Fish. Appreciate the opportunity again to help direct traffic here for what is going to be an amazing night, to learn more about Future Marriage University, and for you guys to have the invitation to be a part of our financial family. We need your help, prayerfully, financially, and in many other ways that we're going to talk about tonight. So I'm excited for all that's in store. I've been connected to Michael Johnson for, I don't know, such a long time. And our families are connected and our kids are connected, and just, I'm a supporter of FMU. I hope by the end of the night you are as well. I really believe in what the guys are doing. $30,000 is what we're going to be looking to raise tonight. And the most important thing is to reach more hearts. To take those folks in those vulnerable years where there could be a left instead of a right, where there could be something that's going to get them off the path, and to know that they've been given guidance, to know that they've got a clear head for a very important decision in their life. I do want to thank tonight's sponsor, Retirement Solutions Group. They're a local investment and advisory firm who specializes in building retirement plans. As fiduciaries, RSG has a niche focus revolving around tax advantage planning. They care greatly about its surrounding communities and actively participate in charitable outreach programs. RSG is a proud sponsor of Future Marriage University for the core foundation for which it stands, and would like to give a heartfelt thanks to MJ, to Julie, to the entire team for equipping young people. They said, we can't think of a more worthy cause. Retirement Solutions Group, could you give them a hand, please? And keep the applause coming, ladies and gentlemen, for the co-founder of FMU, to get our evening started, Julie Johnson!
Thank you. Oh, you're good at that, Doug. Welcome again. Thank you so much for taking time out of your evening this week to be with us. And thank you. Gosh, where do I look for the online people? Straight ahead. I get there. Okay. Thank you so much, online people, live stream, for joining us this evening. And I also want to personally thank our legacy sponsor here tonight, Ryan and Chelsea. Thank you. And you can check on the back of your program. We have other sponsors that we had, so check them out too. This evening, we have lots that we want you to learn about Future Marriage University, but to start us off, I want to just give you a kind of brief overview and history of who we are. Future Marriage University started in our living room in 2003 when the Lord put it on my husband Michael's heart to start a Bible study for singles to talk specifically about relationships. And in 2015, we became a full-fledged nonprofit with the mission of empowering students and young adults to grow spiritually and date wisely so they can marry well. So through our in-person teaching, our online resources, and now small group studies with the video curriculum that we're going to show you guys tonight, we're so excited about, we deliver practical biblical answers to questions about dating and relationships. We believe that every teen and young adult can prepare for their future marriage just like they prepare for their future career, intentionally, intelligently, and in advance. So we hope tonight that the passion that the Lord has given us, that he will also give that passion to you, and that you will join us in reaching more hearts through the work of FMU. So before I introduce our prayer for tonight, I would like to ask anyone who is a student, has been a student in our classes, would you stand up for a minute and we could just recognize you tonight and thank you for coming. So, yes, thank you. It's so good to have you guys. So many of them have helped put this on and volunteered, and they are the heart of what we do. And we just enjoy hanging out with them too. So I would like to introduce Trevor Walker, who is one of my pastors, our pastors at Redemption City Church. He is the pastor of groups, missions, and operations, and now even some youth too, so which means he just about does lots of stuff at church, and I really appreciate you being here tonight to open us with prayer.
Awesome. Let's pray, guys. Father, we love you, and we are just in awe of the opportunity we have to gather in such a beautiful building on such a beautiful spring night. And we thank you for your ministry through Michael and Julie and how they have worked just so tirelessly for so many years to help shape the hearts of young people, to walk faithfully with you, to make decisions that impact their lives with you in mind. And so, God, would you just bless their ministry? Would you continue to use their fervor for young people to shape this community and to shape the world? And I pray that you would just impress on our hearts even tonight the ways we can get involved through prayer, through giving, and also just being here to support them every step of the way. And so would you use this night to ultimately glorify yourself, to stir us up in our faith so that we can take next steps even from a gathering such as this. God, we love you and we are so grateful for this opportunity. In your name we pray. Amen.
So when I got the program and I found out who our musical guest is going to be, I got really excited, because I have known this young man for quite some time. In fact, he and my son and Michael's son in middle school had a group called Pocket People. And we can show you those photos later for a big donation. Richard Kidd is an endangered species called the Franklin native. Do we have any other Franklin? See what I mean? He's a longtime friend of Julie and MJ, a graduate of Union University, a compulsive speaker of random French words. And he is also a local worship and youth leader who loves to hear the people of God sing and grow together. Ladies and gentlemen, please make Richard Kidd welcome.
Well, I'm getting situated. I did have I'm an overthinker, and so when Michael was like, "Hey, would you want to get some music prepared?" I said, "Oh, great, that sounds like a good idea." And then I was like, there are so many songs out there in this world. But I am a student of the ministry of FMU. I started off in relationology, and I remember one of the things that was most impactful for me that I remember us talking a lot about was what it meant, or rather, having been created by God, to know people and be known by people, intimacy. Whether that was through marriage, whether that was through friendship, or whether that was through family in general. And I can honestly say that I understand the weight of the importance of intimacy. And so this first song just kind of speaks to, the song itself is called We Need People. And so it speaks to just how important it is to be surrounded by people that care in the highs and in the lows, to encourage us to not isolate, but to embrace all of life with the people that are around us. So this is We Need People. Here's to the ones that you can laugh with, the same ones you ugly cry with. Here's to the ones you go to war with and go to war for. Yes, here's to the ones that know your secrets, but they don't see you any different. To the ones that just sit and listen and don't try to fix it. highs are a little bit higher and the lows make a little more sense when you got someone in your corner that you know you can live it with. Yeah, life is complicated and pride says we can make it on our own. But the truth is simple. We need people. Yes, here's to the roots the sorrow deepens, and the bloom the joy is opened. Yes, here's to the roots of steady walking and the miles that are coming. The highs are a little bit higher and the lows make a little more sense when you got someone in your corner that you know you can live it with. Yeah, life is complicated and pride says we can make it on our own. But the truth is simple. We need people. It's not always easy. It's gonna get messy. It's hard, but I'm learning. It's necessary. If you wanna grow, then you can't go it alone, friend. Got to open the door and let someone in. You gotta let someone in. 'Cause the highs are a little bit higher and the lows make a little more sense when you got someone in your corner that you know you can live it with. Well, the highs are a little bit higher and the lows make a little more sense when you got someone in your corner that you know you can live it with. Yeah, life is complicated and pride says we can make it on our own. But the truth is simple. We need people. So I recognized as I just chose both of these songs that I apparently have a knack, or I apparently have a bent towards just very mellow music. So bear with me today. But of course, we need people, as the song said, and pride can very easily make us think we can do it on our own, or shame can think we have to do it on our own, right? But we're called to love. We're called to love the people around us in the highs and in the lows, when it's easy and when it's not. And one of the other things that I remember being so very clearly presented, or very, just made very clear in both of the courses that I've taken thus far, is that our Father is the example. We read in the text that God is love. We read all of the things in 1 Corinthians 13, that love is patient, love is kind, love believes all things, love hopes all things, all of the things that Paul is putting out in that passage. And I chew on that from time to time. I'm like, this is really difficult. I really don't want to believe all things. I don't even want to be patient right now. But the thing that was made so clear is that, as we're learning how to be intimate with people, as we're learning how to develop relationship, as we're even learning how to walk the road toward marriage, as the university is called, we have to have an example. And the only example that is worth following to a T, right, is our Lord. The Trinity, we would know, it models intimate community perfectly. We were made in the image of God, and therefore part of the way that we image God is by the way that we relate to other people, the way that we are intimate and in community with other people. But I'm long-winded again. Bear with me. But I remember a preacher telling, kind of giving the example of mowing the lawn. And if you don't fix your eyes in the far direction, if you don't fix your eyes on one goal, then your yard lines, your mow lines are going to be all crooked because you're going to be distracted every which way. And the same goes for the way we interact with people. Like when we're trying to learn how to love people, if our eyes are not fixed upon Christ, who is the perfect image, right, of love, if we're not fixed upon the Godhead who is love, then our attempts at love, the way we interact with people is going to be all kinds of crooked. We're going to be so easily swayed toward impatience, and we're not going to be kind toward one another in any form of relationship. And so this other song that I'll sing is called just that God is love. As just a reminder of who our example is and what our focus ought to be. Oh, heavens. Excuse me. Oh, it's moving on my mountains. It's perfect love. It's casting out my fear. How great this love. Oh, it welcomes me like family. And anywhere I go, it meets me there. 'Cause He is good. God, what I earned is not what I got. Is He is just and oh so kind. What I deserve is not what I find. What more could I say about it? My God is love. How great this love. Oh, it's faithful through my failures. Yeah. It's trusting love. It's with me till the end. How great this love. Oh, it's closer than a brother. This is love. He died so I could live. Not what I got. He is just and oh so kind. What I earn is not what I find. What more could I say about it? My God is love. My God is love. My God is love. Oh, my God is love. I know my God is love. I know my God is love. This is not what I find. And He is just and oh so kind. What I deserve, it's not what I find. Yes, He is just and oh so kind. What I deserve, it's not what I find. What more could I say about it? My God is love. What more could I say about it? Your God is love. What more could we say about it? Our God is love. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Kidd, one more time. Awesome. Thinking back to that middle school song, My Burrito, that's quite a jump up there on a, okay, sorry. We're only talking about that if you write big checks, okay? Come see me later on. Tonight you're going to have the opportunity to get a first look at Future Marriage University's brand new video series that's going to give you insight about the challenges faced in today's dating world. And here in the room, we're going to have a chance to share your own thoughts at your table. To lead us through that, if you would, please welcome back the FMU co-founder, Julie Johnson.
All right. Oh, wow. The Lord just loved me through hearing Richard sing. Thank you, Richard. Thank you so much. That was really special because Richard was a kid in our house coming to small group so many years ago. And then we got to bless him as he came back into our house as a young adult to take class. And now you just got to bless me singing that song at our event. Thank you so much. Wow. All right, so as Doug was saying, we're going to get to introduce you to our new video curriculum that we're so excited about tonight. We're hoping that you'll not only get a glimpse of the series, but we also want to educate you tonight or give you some insights into the modern day dating world. And also, we want you to get to experience at your tables kind of a small group experience, like what happens when teens and young adults come into our house and they may or may not know each other, and they come to these small group studies and we talk about things like relationships. So you're going to get a chance to do that at your tables tonight. And the way that we're going to do that is that we're going to show you a 1-minute clip from the video series, and then it's going to have some questions for you to talk about and discuss at your table. And then I'm going to give you 1 to 2 minutes, probably 2 minutes, to discuss that. And then we're going to do another clip, and we're going to do that 3 times. We have 3 little short clips to show you and get to give you a glimpse of our video series. So before we do the first clip, I just want to say all of these clips are from the intro video, the very first one. And in this one, I'm just going to kind of give you a little introduction because we're going to drop right into the middle of it. Michael was sharing about his dating history, which I wish I could show you guys. That's the fun part. And then now he's talking about modern day dating and what's different about that than the days when he was dating. So I think we're ready to do our clip.
Now, that said, what do I know about dating today? Well, I know dating is largely not even happening anymore because you get over that in middle school. In the world, hooking up actually seems safer than dating. It seems safer to bare your body than to bare your soul, as if the two weren't connected. And then in the church, people aren't dating anymore because coffee equals marriage. See? I also know that the dating that is happening is mostly happening online now, which means that it vastly expands your dating options as it lowers both your confidence and satisfaction. And this isn't just about dating, this is basic consumer science that shows that as your options expand, both your confidence in making the right decision and your satisfaction after making your decision decline, which means you have to fight the commodification of the people you date.
All right, that's our first little clip, and we should have our questions. Yes, okay, so this is about what he was saying about the internet. Do you think dating sites, apps, and social media have had a positive or negative effect on dating today? Why or why not? And how have you or those you know been affected by that? So I'm going to give you a minute or two to talk about that, talk amongst yourselves at your tables about those questions. All right, I know it's short, but we're going to go on to our next clip. Thank you so much for starting the conversation about that one. All right, our next clip is going to give you some statistics. So let's start with that one.
More than my awareness of what's going on in the dating world, I understand what's at stake. For instance, percent of all adults currently married in America, less than 50%. Percent of adults 25 to 34 are currently married, drops down to 27%. Percent of adults 18 to 24 are currently married, goes down to 7%. And yet, percentage of 13 to 35-year-olds who desire marriage, 77%. And then this stat, you will not believe, but it's actually the most recent stat we have, just came in last year, percent of high school students who expect marriage, 95%. Yet only 50% of all adults are married today, not even 50%. This is a huge problem. Think about it in economic terms. Imagine if 95% of high school students expected to be full-time employed, and yet they lived in a culture where less than 50% of all adults were employed.
All right. Yeah, interesting way to think about those statistics. All right, so which of those statistics surprised you the most? Why? What do you think is causing the decline in marriage? So talk about that. All right, 30 seconds, 30 more seconds. All right, that is so awesome. I can see you guys having good discussion about these things. They're important aspects of what's going on in our society. All right, this is our last and final clip.
All of that said, a dating life that leads to a life-giving, lifelong marriage doesn't happen by accident. You need to know what you're doing. Because you know what does happen by accident? Heartbreak, rejection, and regret. No one intentionally seeks out to achieve these outcomes, yet they require no tools, no knowledge, and no skills to obtain. But the reality for most people out there dating, they're just like I was when I was dating. They don't have any effective tools, accurate knowledge, or practical skills to even survive, much less thrive in their dating life. They're just out there winging it. But they hope and even expect that they'll eventually get the hang of it and wind up winning. But if you want to succeed at anything, you need to acquire effective tools, accurate knowledge, and practical skills, and you need to put them into practice, even in relationships, especially in relationships.
Especially in relationships. All right. So this is our last one. So if you haven't had a chance to talk at your table, this is your chance to jump in and say, do you think people today need relationship knowledge, tools, and skills more than in the past? Why or why not? And what keeps us from gaining them? All right, 30 seconds. All right, thank you so much. I hate to interrupt you guys in your conversations. Thank you so much for engaging with each other and engaging with those questions. I hope that that gave you maybe some insights or knowledge that you didn't have before, that you got to know your guests better, and maybe have a little bit of an experience of what it's like to be in a small group studying these kind of things and learning from them. Also, just so you know that we wrote the dating book and made this video series and have these important conversations with teens and young adults to equip them to have those knowledge and skills and tools to be able to succeed at relationships. So thank you for doing the Table Talk experience with us tonight.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you. So we're going to have an opportunity now for you to hear from a couple of students that have gone through FMU. And while I'm introducing them, they'll be pulling themselves together up on stage. Gabe Wofford. I knew I was going to mess up there. Is a local high school student. He's an artist and therefore loves anything that looks, smells, or sounds like art. He believes that mornings, coffee, and breakfast foods are heaven sent, and his love for conversation is both his superpower and his kryptonite. Gabe. Have a seat right there, my friend. Yeah. Well, to keep for this moment, I can't give away the church's chair, but for the right price. Ysabet Luciano works at a French bakery in downtown Franklin and enjoys dancing in her free time, ranging from ballet to ballroom. If she's not on the dance floor, she can often be found curled up with a good book while cuddling Copper, her cocker spaniel. Ysabet, welcome. Thank you. Would you take that chair and that microphone? How about a round of applause for these students? They should be on. What do you think? Oh, they'll give them on the back. We good?
Testing, radical.
Are we good?
Yep.
Is yours good? Is hers good?
They're working on it.
They're working on it? Well, I was going to give Ysabet the first question. Ladies first.
Try it again.
Hello?
There we go. So you knew about Future Marriage University for a while before even attending a class. What motivated you to register?
Definitely my parents. They wanted me to take the class last year, but I was just like, I don't know if I want to take a dating class. I don't know. I felt like it's just going to be cheesy. I don't know. But I was going to take the class this year because my parents really encouraged me to go. I flipped through the book a little bit, and I was like, oh, this stuff actually has some things that I think would be really helpful. And I also felt like, my pride kind of got in the way and beforehand, and I was like, I think everyone could use a little help. So I decided to take it, and I'm so glad that I took it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All righty, Gabe. What convinced you to attend a Love Ed class?
Well, it wasn't actually me. It was a friend of mine from work. So it was really cool because he saw my need for it more than I did. And so he's actually in the back taking my spot in the audio. Michael Johns, he's awesome. But he told me about it, and I was like, man, I don't know. And then I ended up going, and man, I'm glad I did. Like, it was, I'm not joking. Like, I'm not just here to be like, this people are great, you should totally, no. Like, I'm here because it was amazing, and it meant a lot to me, and I think everybody could use it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Is there any truth that you have known before, but the Love Ed teaching helped you embrace more wholeheartedly, Ysabet?
Yes, I would say that just taking time is so important, and it's something that I knew beforehand, but after taking the class, Michael and Julie just really emphasized the importance of taking your time and how it's good to really get to know the person as a friend and not even thinking about them romantically at first, but just thinking about who they are as a person, learning about their character and how important that is. And it was something I knew, but after reading the book, I was like, wow, it truly is important. It's not just about the romance and those fluttery feelings, which those are good, but it's about who the person is. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, Gabe, what is Love Ed teaching? How has it changed your perspective on dating or relationships in general?
So I feel like before I took the class, I felt like every relationship with like anybody, just like friends, had to be like super deep. Like, we're sitting here and we're not just talking, but we're talking about everything that's ever happened to us. And it's like, back when I was 2, Yeah, so, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's a place and time for those relationships, but just to take friends and just enjoy being around them. And like she said, just learning who they are and not minding whoever that is, like just be with them. And it's really cool to just realize, to when you're around them, you can see when you're not picky or expecting something. When you go into relationships expecting how your interactions are going to go and stuff, it puts this filter on things. And then when things don't go how you expected, it's like a letdown. But when you just go to be with the people, and whoever they are, you're happy with that, and you just enjoy being with them, it helps so much, because then you can just see way better. And then also onto that, like the song he sung earlier, Richard, about God is love. It's just, in the class, they dive really deep into that. And if you can fully grasp, somebody once said to me, it's not about, Drat. What was it? I'm not train of thought. I like to wave it as it goes by. But anyway, I thought it was good, you know? Yeah, it's gone now. If we had all day, we would wait. Yeah, I'm gonna be walking off the stage and be like, wait.
But it sounds like you're talking about just sort of like a freedom. I mean, that sounds freeing as you're talking about this.
Here it is. So,
all aboard?
not me. But it's not deciding that's hard. It's fully understanding. That makes action easy. If we really understood the weight that things carry, if we really understood God has everything in his hands, if we really understood, it would make our trust easy, our following easy. So when you realize that he has all of it through this class, and they tell you and they show you how he does, it makes it a lot easier to let everything go, because you realize that, one, it wasn't in your control in the first place, and two, it's in the best hands that it could be in. And so that helped me a lot.
Awesome. Yeah, applaud that, sure. Please. Ysabet, why do you think the world needs the Love Ed Future Marriage University and all they have to offer?
Well, I would say that no one else is teaching it. I think that a lot of kids, all they have to go on is social media and what movies tell them, which is just not great advice. So, yeah, I think that it's important for kids to have this information. I mean, I definitely have found great value in going to the class, and I think that anyone dating at any age could use this information. Yeah.
That's good. All righty, Gabe, what would you say to encourage another high school student to attend a Love Ed class?
I would tell them to just do it. Like my friend told me, you know, don't wait for them to be like, I think I need this. You know, tell them, be like, bro, I didn't think I needed it, and man, I could. Like, you need this. I think, because for me, if I had to use one word to describe what it was for me, that would have been clarity on everything. So, like a pair of glasses. The book was my glasses. I put them on, and I wasn't blind before, but things were a little bit like, who am I kidding? A lot a bit blurry, you know? You can't see, you know what's out there kinda, and you have a good idea and you can avoid running into things, but you can't really take advantage of the tools around you. You can't live well without them. You can't drive legally. For those who didn't know that. But, so I would say, even if you don't need it as much as I did, even if it won't do for you, I think everybody has a prescription of some sort. And I think that this class is it. So even if you don't see it, your friends probably will. And so, yeah, I would say, I mean, what could you lose? You know, worst case scenario, you get told stuff you already know and like reinforce that. So do it. Like, it's awesome.
Is there a specific way that you feel empowered? Is it just the clarity as far as how you're dating better after the class?
Well, and it's just like it's not daunting anymore. It's like dating is to find if it's like the coffee thing. coffee is not proposing. It's not like, will you marry me? No, it's like, I got you a coffee, cool. So, and it's just to find out if you would work well together. And that's fine. Like, breaking up doesn't have to be so scary if it's not like rejection. It's just facts. It's just truth. And you can still be friends. You can still, it puts you so much at ease, like at peace. It's just like when you've been holding your breath for a long time and then you just let it all out and you're like, yeah. And you can just chill and be happy about it. And like, you can enjoy the ride and have fun while making wise decisions. And you say, how are you empowered? In every way, it just empowers you. Like, you can see so well, and it's awesome. It's awesome. I loved it. I think everyone else would too.
Okay. Take Gabe's advice. How about a round of applause for Gabe and Ysabet? Well done.
I like the chair. No, I'm good.
I think we found the MC for next year.
You said I could have it.
Give it up for our students one more time. All right, so we've heard from the students who have been able to attend in-person Love Ed classes, but what if you get the same teaching in your home, in your school, in your church? To reach more teens and world adults last year, more teens and young adults last year, Future Marriage University published their dating book, and now they're releasing the accompanying video series. We saw some clips, but this is the worldwide premiere I was talking about before. So ladies and gentlemen, turn your attention to the screen for the video that tells us more.
The following program was paid for by your mom. Viewer discretion advised. Does dating seem like a minefield you have to tiptoe through, hoping to reach the other side alive?
Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
Hoping to reach the other side alive? With a spouse. What if there was a study designed to empower you to discern God's will for your dating life? Avoid heartbreak, rejection, and regret. Date with clarity, confidence, and courage. Win the war over sexual temptation. And use your marriage hopes to inspire instead of impede your dating life. Well, there is such a thing. Your Date Prep Guide is the study for you who want to date like you know what you're doing.
I'm Michael Johnson, co-founder and Dean of Dating at FMU. And since 2003, we've been empowering wise individuals just like you to grow spiritually and date wisely so they can marry well. That passion led us not only to publish the book, Date Like You Know What You're Doing, but to produce a companion video curriculum to enable you to maximize your personal growth.
Entertaining, thought-provoking 10-minute videos illuminate key concepts from the text to deepen your comprehension and broaden your application of the material. In addition, the program includes a leader's guide with community-building exercises and object lessons to foster lively discussions and relational discipleship when used for group study.
Why not prepare for your future marriage like you would a successful career? Intentionally, intelligently, and in advance.
Because a life-giving, lifelong marriage doesn't happen by accident. You need to know what you're doing. Program participants may suffer delayed gratification, conviction of sin, blind spots, or unrealistic expectations. Disappointment if God doesn't do what they want him to do just because they started pursuing wisdom in their dating life, and death of romantic and or sexual fantasies. Drop-dead gorgeous godly spouse not included.
All right. That is awesome. And you can find that promo, because I know you want to share it with all your friends, at the FMU website. And of course, the book, Date Like You Know What You're Doing, available tonight for a discounted price in the foyer. But right now, we're going to give away 5 signed copies. And you're going to, it's a signed copy, oh, that's right, and a free download of the video curriculum to give yourself or to pass along to someone else. Am I pulling from that jar where my hand is much too large for? There's the famous jar. I was going to say, Mama raised a big boy over here, so. Is that both ends? I think I won. If you got a blue ticket, come on down. Last three numbers, 208. 768-208. 208 in the house. For those of you online, you're doing the giveaway in the chat. 208. Don't be shy, be next to come down for an amazing autographed. No? Okay. We're going to keep the numbers going. Wait! David McClung, ladies and gentlemen. How about 204? Last three numbers. 204. 768-204. 768-204. Awesome. Yeah, because my hand's too big. I'm sorry. Next time we're getting a bigger jar. 211. Last three numbers. 211. 211. 211 auf Deutsch. 211. 768-211. All right, well, we'll go on to another number. And while you're still looking for 211, how about 125? 768-125. 768-125. Uno, dos, five. Was it cuatro? Oh, man. Where'd everybody go on these numbers? All right, una más. 126, obviously related to 125. So last three numbers, 126, 126. And we've got Douglas Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. Every father wants to win an autographed copy of his son's book. It's a beautiful thing. 768-150, 150. Hawaii 50, 150. Last three numbers, 150. Don't be shy, be next. Do we get it? Yeah? Hey, we can applaud for 150. How about 134? Last three numbers, 134. 134. Oh, right over there, 134. I think that's our last one. That is awesome. That is awesome. So, our last two speakers need no introduction. But with what I was provided, it says most of you know them, but I'm supposed to give them an introduction anyway. Closing out our evening, we'll have the honor of David Gibson sharing with us. David is the founder and CEO of Deer Run Camps and Retreats in Thompson Station. Deer Run is a 501c3 nonprofit Christian camp and retreat center, serving about 3,800 campers for day and overnight camps during the summer, winter break, and spring break. Throughout the year, Deer Run programs family camps, parent-child events, and married couples weekends, plus hosts over 300 retreat groups annually. Prior to following God's call to start Deer Run camps 28 years ago, David was an entrepreneur, having started and operated several successful small businesses. David and his wife, Liz, have been married 45 years and have 3 daughters and 8 grandchildren. But before then, would you please welcome with me someone you've already heard in video form and even better, live in the flesh. Ladies and gentlemen, the co-founder and the dean of dating for FMU, Michael Johnson.
Let's hear it for Doug Griffin, our MC. I mean, he makes everyone look good, even me. You know, I really think of Doug as he's like kind of the Yoda of MCs, you know, when you think about it. In fact, I was, you're missing the joke right now, but I can wait. I can wait. This is the build-up. In fact, I was actually talking to Yoda this morning on the phone, and he's saying the way things only Yoda can say. He was like, Master of Ceremonies, Doug Griffin is not. No, excuse me, Master of Jedis, Doug Griffin is not. But Master of Ceremonies, he is. Thanks again to all y'all for coming tonight. Yeah, he didn't do the script right, and it was a pretty bad Yoda imitation too, but we'll clap because we feel bad. Seriously, thanks for coming. Tonight's theme, of course, is Reaching Hearts. The theme reflects our big, holy, audacious goal, which, if you didn't know, happens to be changing the heart of the culture about the biblical meaning, purpose, and significance of marriage. And according to the laws of physics, I don't think you can actually change a heart that you can't reach. So that said, we've been reaching hearts locally, a few students at a time in classes out of our home.
but also online. And thanks to Matt Munt, who is also in the room tonight, with Google ad campaigns that he's put together, our web users have increased 78% this time over this time last year. And even better, our page views are up 188%, which means that we're actually not only getting more visitors, but more visitors that actually want to be there and are benefiting from the content. So we celebrate the hearts we've been able to reach already, but we really feel about like at this point in time, it's kind of did Julie mention that we had our first class in our home back in 2003? Yeah. It's kind of a good time to go big or go home. We want to get into other people's homes and churches and schools. Now, in a way, you could say we were going big before, because in 2007, 2014-ish, I was booking dates in Christian colleges and universities and sometimes churches. And I got to address in those settings hundreds and sometimes thousands of students at a time. In fact, our first foray into college speaking hit off with a bang. Lipscomb University got to share with 2,000 college students just one truth about marriage, just one truth. And here, over 15 years later, it's the same one truth that we share in the last chapter of our book. Another couple stories really quick. One of my favorite stories was Abilene Christian University. The first time I went there, I was supposed to spend 20 minutes in chapel sharing the top 10 dumbest reasons to date, which is also enumerated in the book. And I find chapels to be fun and challenging. Fun because, of course, they have to go, so it's a captive audience. And in the case of Abilene Christian University, the first time I went, that was 3,000 students in an arena, but also challenging in the fact that those people that have to come probably don't want to be there. And so you got to win them over, and I liked that challenge. And then later that afternoon at Abilene, I was going to do a longer session. And those sessions are usually more intimate venues, usually just a classroom, and I usually don't have any more than 100 people and those sort of things. But we're able to cover more material and get more engagement from the students. So I was really excited until I get picked up at the airport the night before my chapel talk, and the person informs me, oh yeah, the school president's speaking tomorrow morning as well. And so my 20 minutes became 12. And so I'm tossing and turning in my hotel bed, trying to think, how am I going to deliver 10 dumb reasons to date in 12 minutes? And then after, I don't know how long, I just felt like God said, just do the first 5 and do the rest of them in the afternoon session. The reason why I said God said is, number one, I wanted somebody to blame if it did not work. And number two, because as soon as those thoughts hit my head, I was like, boof, peace, fell asleep, which is good. I needed to sleep, get up, walk into this arena, do dumb reason number 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, that's all we have time for this morning. Oh! I mean, this echoing gasp of anguish. And I thought, man, I'm so glad I had that idea last night. As a result, that normal 100 or so students wound up being every seat filled with students sitting in the aisles of an auditorium that would seat 700 plus students. So we got to reach a lot of hearts there. But really, one of my sweetest experiences on the road, and the last story I'll share, was at Ysabet Nazarene University. I was sharing 3 chapels in a row that week, and my last night there, I also got to do one of those normal, typical 100 or so students at night, although there was probably closer to 200, 300 because, well, the title was How Marriage Can Be More Fun Than a Nudist Colony. So all of that to say, the next morning after chapel, I had this young lady come up to me. And by the way, even though, yeah, it's a clickbait title, okay, guilty, but really I attempt to communicate a deep vision of marriage, of what God intended marriage to be, and then contrast that with the ever so cool, yet totally empty, sort of swinging single, perpetually independent for the rest of your life lifestyle. And so this girl comes up to me the next morning. She has tears in her eyes, and she's like, I always wondered, what is marriage supposed to be like? And I felt like I had no idea until last night. So another heart closer to changing the heart of our culture about the biblical meaning, purpose, and significance of marriage. Nevertheless, in 2012, I sensed God telling me, stop booking dates, focus online, focus at home, and I'll send for you again sometime. And that was hard for me because if you didn't know, I kind of love talking in front of an audience. However, you can't go over very much material in 20-minute talks or even an hour talk, and certainly not in 12-minute talks. And then when I was done, however long I got to speak on that particular campus, when I was done, the conversation was over. And I had little to follow up with online at the time. In contrast, with our in-home classes, we are able to go deep. When we do relationology, which we do both for high school students and a separate class for young adults, in the fall, we're able to go deep. When we do date prep for high school students and Date Like You Know in the spring, we're able to go deep. And after hosting the dating classes again and again and again and again, I finally got to writing the book. And we published that book, as many of y'all know, in January of last year. Then we did the ebook that we uploaded in the spring. Then I recorded the audiobook in the summer. And then finally this fall, we got to producing the video curriculum. And now we feel like it's all ready. So we can reach more hearts and more homes and more churches and more schools. Imagine this fall if there were date prep and Date Like You Know classes going on all across the country. Now we can both reach thousands and go deep. But what's our plan for getting there? Well, we're launching our video curriculum at the Teach Them Diligently conference, which happens just in 2 weeks, where we will hopefully reach the hearts of a portion of 3,000 homeschool families that will be present there. We'll have a booth and a workshop. We also want to reach more hearts through podcasts, radio, and TV interviews. I've already been able to be on the Boundless podcast in the past. That's the young adult ministry of Focus on the Family. Also spent some time on the podcast and blogging for Covenant Eyes, which for those you don't know is about helping people live free from porn. If you can't understand the connection between that and wanting to get married, I can talk to you about that later. But maybe God will lead us to a publicist in the near future to help book some of those dates. But speaking of God's leading, a huge part of our plan is prayer. As our pastor at Redemption City, Pastor Jed says, not Pastor Trevor, well, I'm sure Trevor would say it too because Jed says it, but God can do more in a moment than we can do in a lifetime. And as an example of what God can do, I want you to check out this quick video clip of what he did on the campus of UT Knoxville through Cru.
Hey, my name is Adam Dixon, and I've worked with Campus Crusade for Christ, it's also called Cru, for 30 years. I've been married to my wonderful wife, Jennifer, for 25, and I've got a degree from Dallas Seminary, a Master's of Theology. As a result, I do a lot of weddings. When you work with college students, as much as I do, you see them fall in love. My wife and I do an extended premarital counseling curriculum, and that's one of the reasons I want to talk to you about this book here, Date Like You Know What You're Doing by Michael Johnson. I got a copy of this and it really stunned me. I read the book in about a day and a half. I got it and gave it to my wife. She read it in a day. And we started having insights that we hadn't had before. We've done a lot of relationship counseling, but this book added a lot to us and we started having some really good discussions. Then I brought the book up in a meeting with my staff and my intern Ben said, "I've read that book." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I was at your house." He was house sitting for us. He saw this book, picked it up, and read through it in a day. This happened in early February, and Valentine's Day was coming up. So we surveyed about 150 students at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. We asked them their hardest questions they had about relationships. They asked them about their dreams and their hopes. We asked them to give us anything they had on this most important topic. And we got a ton of responses. I categorized those responses and aligned them with chapters from this book. And then I gave this book to my staff team and gave each of them certain chapters to read and to master. That was what we did to prepare for a relationship panel. And that panel was fantastic. We did the panel, all the staff had read chapters of this book. They were well prepared to answer questions. And as a result of about an hour and a half panel, students started telling me that they were breaking up relationships that didn't glorify God. They'd realized they didn't have a foundation that was adequate for a relationship that would last. Others started noticing people they'd never noticed before, based more on character than infatuation. And I've seen those relationships continue to flourish. It's been really fantastic. The impact of that panel is because of the impact of this book. So I had to say something because this book's meant a lot to us. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's the best and most researched book I've found on dating, and it's touched a lot of lives in Knoxville. I hope it touches you too.
Did you catch the part of what I did to make that happen? Nothing. His daughter was in one of our classes. She gave the book to her dad. One student gave one book to her dad, and look what God did. What might God do through you? Is there a student like Abby that you need to give a copy of our book to? Or maybe you could give a copy of our book to somebody like Adam Dixon that already works with college students or high school students or young adults. You know, after that crew panel at UTK, they wanted books. College students can't really necessarily buy extra books. So they decided, okay, well, the students could pay $5, and we got a ministry partner to cover the balance of the costs for printing. And we did something similar like that at Deer Run with the summer staff, where with the help of a sponsor, we provided free books to all their summer staff last year. Could you sponsor a similar book distribution at a camp or a student group or a college group or a young adult ministry? And if you can't do it on your own, could you enlist some of your friends to pool together and make it happen? What could God do through you? Conferences like Teach Them Diligently are, for our little ministry, a sizable investment. Would you want to sponsor a future conference? And maybe again encourage other people, hey, we're gonna get FMU into this conference, encourage other people to join you. Do you know a podcast, radio, TV program you could get us on? What might God do through you and us together? Fill in the blank. What hearts might reach this year because of a connection you made for us? And if you're like, yeah, I don't have connections, well, could you pray that we could get some of those connections? Will you pray that we could get some of those connections? What hearts might we reach this year because of a prayer you prayed for us? We want to reach more hearts. Through our book and video curriculum? Yes. Online, on our website and YouTube channel? Absolutely. But also through you. Lord Jesus, I thank you so much for just this brief moment to speak with these people. Some of them great believers in the ministry. Some of them are like, I don't know how I wound up here. And I pray that if it's your will for them to partner with us in any way, maybe money, maybe not spending a dime, maybe just, and I say just, that's a terrible thing to say, maybe getting down on their knees and asking you to intercede for us. And pray this in the name of your son, Jesus. Amen. Well, now, Doug already did introduce him, all the formal stuff, but I just want you to know, as co-founder and CEO of Deer Run Retreat Center, David Gibson is really an inspiring man of faith. And as the husband of Liz for 45 years, he has a passion for marriage. And oh my goodness, do you need to get him aside sometime and he'll hear the whole story. And also as a monthly financial partner, he's a believer in what we do. So would you please welcome with me David Gibson. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for being here tonight, and thank you, Michael, for letting me and Liz come, and it's just a pleasure to be here. We've known each other for quite a few years, and I was very intrigued when I first heard about FMU and what Michael's doing, because Liz and I have a real heart and passion for marriage ministry. It's been mentioned a couple times that we've been married 45 years, but what the part you don't know is I like to say we've been married 45 years by the grace of God, because we almost didn't make it through our 7th year of marriage. And in case you didn't know it, Satan hates marriage, because marriage is God's idea. But unfortunately, there's not a lot of, there hasn't been a lot of education that's helpful, like what Michael and Julie have been putting out. And so Liz and I felt called to try to make a difference and to save and strengthen marriages and families. And that's really where the seeds for our ministry, which is called Deer Run Camps and Retreats, came from. It was out of our brokenness in our marriage and allowed us to start a ministry. And the first events that we did at Deer Run were married couples weekends. And we joke about that because all we had were some platform tents and a couple of porta-johns, and we started doing married couples weekends. But we had to pay people to come to them because nobody wanted to stay there. But we were determined we were going to impact marriages, and we do 3 married couples weekends a year now that are open to the public, and we do have a little bit nicer facilities than that now. But Liz and I personally have been doing marriage ministry in our home for close to 30 years now, and most of that work is working with couples who are in crisis in their marriage. We're not counselors. We've just been people that made a lot of mistakes and learned a few things. But we have a heart for strengthening marriages. And so what Michael and Julie are doing is so important, because if we can help young people to learn these principles and make better choices and be better prepared for marriage, hopefully Liz and I and others in this room, I'm sure, who have done similar things, won't have to keep meeting with so many couples who are in crisis, that are in broken marriages, because they didn't have that foundation. So it resonates with me and with Liz, and so we've been monthly partners with this ministry for several years. And I just want to encourage you, as the founder of a nonprofit ministry, it takes a lot to make a step like this and to do this and to produce all of this curriculum, which I will say they have done an excellent job. Everything they put out is just exceptional, geared well towards the audience that it's designed for. And that takes a lot of resources. And I will tell you that however God might lead you to be a part of that, just be open and ask God to show you what he would have you to do. And no gift is too small or too large. I will say, as a founder of a small nonprofit, we started with nothing. Monthly gifts are lifeblood to a small ministry. And so I just want to encourage you to consider that, how God might use you. But I will say that I feel really strongly that the investment that Liz and I have made into this ministry is giving great return. So I just want to encourage you to pray and consider that as well. So thank you for letting me have a few minutes and share. It's just an honor and a joy to be here, and I love seeing the life change that's taking place. And I can't wait to see even 10 and 15 years from now and hear the stories of marriages that have been impacted by the work you guys are doing. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, David. Appreciate that. All right. 2-minute warning. Bottom of the ninth. This is what we're here for. $30,000 is our goal. There's a card you'll find on the table. Everybody want to grab that card? There's a card. There's a pen. And we're going to put that card on the screen, I believe. Look at that. So, don't write down Johnny Appleseed. Write down your name, your address, and then there's some opportunities for you. Check some of those boxes. In-person classes. Learn about upcoming FMU classes for high schoolers or young adults. You're interested, you want to be a part of the video curriculum, receiving info about that. A prayer champ volunteer, praying for an FMU student. Michael, very heartfelt on that. Michael prays for me and for many of you regularly. And we never want to underestimate the power of prayer, because God does that amazingly. Speaking, arranging for MJ to speak at your organization. Wedding, bar mitzvah, he'll go anywhere. Event volunteer, you can help out at next year's event, and the donations are tax deductible. Now, the thing that I love there is that box that is checked, because that's the box that's checked on my card, a monthly gift. Sometimes you think like, I want to write a big check, but I can't do it right now. Well, think about giving a little bit incrementally over those 12 months and what's that adds up at the end of the year. And I know MJ and Julie and the whole ministry celebrate that, because it's this consistent revenue stream that's coming in that they can budget and do things with financially. So I'm going to ask Richard Kidd to come up. He's going to play a little check writing, card filling out music, and I would love each and every one of you to fill out those cards and give, check, and participate. The QR code is up there as well. Checks payable to Future Marriage University. The Venmo is up there. Credit card, PayPal. Give you a chance to do that while Richard strums a few chords. Up those cards. Want to thank our live stream guests. We appreciate you listening and streaming with us and giving and praying and supporting. And certainly, we want to thank you all for coming out and spending your evening with us, praising God for the partnership with you that makes this ministry possible. And look for a follow-up email to see what the Lord has done tonight and to celebrate as the ministry moves forward. Can we have a round of applause, please, for all the volunteers? So many folks put in work to make tonight happen. Up front, behind the scenes, the tech crew. Can we give a round of applause for this amazing church that so graciously gave us this opportunity to come together? And now, on the board of FMU, Anna Parrish is going to come and close us in prayer.
Will you pray with me? Dearest God, tonight affirms how generous and gracious you are. We thank you for this great celebration. You have brought us together. FMU has been your vision and your design from the very beginning, and we are so grateful for that. Thank you again for each person that is here and for their contribution of time and energy and talents. We give you thanks for that as well. And to you will be all of the glory. And as we depart, may the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Good night.
Thank you all for coming, ladies and gentlemen. Leave those cards at the table and we'll be collecting all of them. You're dismissed.